Name, place, animal, thing. The dice rolls on and the journey rolls on. Sometimes nudging the name in you, sometimes the place in you, the animal or the thing in you. As children, we have played this very insightful game, making paper boats, aeroplanes, and paper dice. With a rhythmic flick of your fingers, the dice brought your attention to the name, place, animal, or thing in you. The next unsaid step is to slip back home. Home, right behind, right next to that which we are deeply identified with.
Very urban, but it's not urban. Okay, and it is also not necessarily the rural, though there are elements of rural things coming into it. It's not. And the nice part for me, it's probably, don't have word. For me, I constantly think the right word is magical reality. You know, there's a kind of a reality constructed, but there's a kind of joy of making something parallelly another world, constructing another world. That's why I said probably this is the new folklore, the new contemporary folklore. That is a kind of this thing.
Not really constructing. I'm not really constructing, though it feels like it at some point. You're deciphering.
No, it's also spatial thing. What you reading into your image is also kind of construction. Not necessarily something that you build on the surface and build on to construct this. Reading things, why am I doing it, from the level of applying paint to drawing line, even that kind of construction is also. Yeah. So, and then for me, I also looked at and I said, yeah, it just doesn't matter which level it is coming from. Whether it is the realities are constructing from the sideways or from the top or the bottom, they all stay in different spatial level to construct something completely new. There's this kind of verticality that is celebrating. There's kind of a new form that is coming up in between all of these realities that are like, what do you see when you see a side of that? You think of a landscape that is getting constructed. So this kind of landscape is already three kinds of landscape, or a seascape is getting constructed. But between all of that, there is this kind of a new verticality which is rising. That is interesting. That's why I've said go free. It's okay. Go free and go large. Use your body to move around and make it work.
Okay.
That name, that thing, those set of colors that you are comfortable with, that hand of yours holding a brush and moving only in a certain structured way, that head of the painter which keeps polishing, trimming the lines, fearful of stray strokes, that surviving animal touch in you, the not knowing when to stop.
That when you're in a zero state, like you're just blank and then one thing keeps coming up like that, like a bubble. That for me is inspiration. Organic, perhaps, is the word you use.
Comes like a bubble means what comes like a bubble?
An idea or a thought.
An idea.
From that zero state, which is where perhaps you start. And maybe it is intuition, because ultimately we process data at very fast speed, and somewhere it'll be there, right? So many billions of cells. So yeah. I'm a non-artist.
Yeah, intuition is
the psychologist.
Intuition is something I now I can accept what she's saying, because I think as artists, I think that's basically what we are putting out there, projecting out there, our intuition and our instinct of things. Don't you agree? I labor when it comes to writing.
Again, intuition is a very difficult word. It's another word which is a little
Intuition,
confusing.
how you describe it,
It's not the typical
just the
process.
definition. And intuition
People
is
write.
something that you get
People
from
usually
within.
people will write like 500 words and cut it down to
Into
whatever.
it, meaning it's coming from within. How
Will
it
write
comes from within,
precisely
there is actually a
the
data
number of
processing
words
mechanism
I want
inside.
to write.
To process
And
like
every
billions
word
of
will
thoughts,
be
and suddenly that will come up.
thought out, has to sound right, has to fit right,
You get what I'm
has to
saying?
have the correct
What we
meaning,
call intuition is actually like marinated
which are not in
data
any
in
other
the
sense.
mind.
In my work, I guess you could
And
call
at
me
the same
meticulous.
time, there may be a
Technical, I
totally
don't
fresh
think you could
thought,
call
but
me.
there's nobody to tell you where it's coming from.
And I have this.
Yeah.
This
There may be a
relationship with
completely
English
new
which
thought.
I
Why
have
should
not
you? There's no need to know
particularly-
where
like a
it's
love-hate
coming from as
relationship
long
with
as
English.
it is coming.
Because
But are you saying that
it can sound so
when you
nice,
say process
but I
data,
find it inadequate.
which means memory?
Thoughts,
Because unlike Indian
feelings.
languages, Indian language
Our whole database
so much
of
all that.
I'm talking
The
software
nuance is
language, which
more
perhaps you
nuanced,
can't
it's so
connect with, but
nuanced.
it's the subconscious
and-
mind, simply put.
Like for
Every
instance,
day,
in Hindi
whatever
there's a word
I'm
called
seeing,
mustard.
hearing
What
goes
is
back,
the
right?
English
And then
equivalent?
that
I
plus
just thought of it.
into n number of years, and
What
this thing
is there an
is
English equivalent? I don't know.
processed, and perhaps it touches something and comes up. I don't know how.
For me, writing is going
The
to be
how
laborious
is,
because at work you have to write, and I struggle to write.
I don't know if there's a
So
science around the
I'm a
how.
researcher, I'm an anthropologist,
Wow.
but I
It
work
could touch
in
on
tech.
certain archetypes,
I work with intent.
Okay.
which may
How
be
does that
subdued, right? But what we call intuition is
I
like
work,
one
in
data
an
point
area
when
of
it
how do
triggered
people
something that
interact
we
with
saw
technology.
perhaps 25 years ago and we are not aware of. So that way.
And I have to write at work, and
But that is
laboriously.
making it too
And
scientific.
that has taken away the joy of writing otherwise.
But the
But that
beauty is when you
must be a
sink in
different
it.
kind of writing. I mean, there are so many different kinds of writing.
I know, but once you're
Right?
struggled with it, no?
Yeah.
Then the joy of writing is gone. Earlier, growing up, I used to write poetry.
The overpowering saying the painter indulges in. All this dies rolling through you on one side, and that disconnected, discontent heart on the other side. The dice rolls on, and now to pierce through that, the struggle to rip through the layers and touch home, to feel the essence flow through you. What else can a painting look for in you?